Hi, this is Jared Polak, founder of Entre Results, author of Entre Balance, and author of Entre Business, founder of Entre Results Academy. Excited that you're back for another dynamic podcast. Right when I started my business coaching company, it must have been about nine years ago, I got some advice. I was seeking out a lot of advice from a lot of different people, and one person was a individual that I met through an independent organization that was a retired business owner that had been very successful at business, and he liked to mentor and advise young people that were starting businesses or that were new to business. And I remember having a conversation with him, and just started talking about different parts of business and in life and things like that. And I remember he said a comment to me that was along the lines of this: when you are a business owner, it will be your life. It will consume you. It will be late at night, early in the morning, on the weekends. You'll never be able to get away from it. It will be an all-consuming venture. And I thought, that is a sad way to look at creating a business. And obviously, he might have been financially successful from a business and ended up selling it. But in regards to work-life balance, he had a totally wrong perspective, and he probably didn't even care. And there's nothing wrong with some people that want to work all the time and have the business be all about them, but it's not something I wanted. And I was starting a business that wanted to give people a life that's better, to create a business that will give them the life that they want. And this individual, had a major limiting belief. He didn't believe it was possible to have a balanced life. He didn't believe it was possible to have all these other things in equilibrium in life. And I think many of you and many business owners out there don't believe that it's actually possible to have a balanced life. Perhaps you started a business and then you had a reasonable degree of success. You could finally pay your bills, but then you became consumed with the rhythm of work and it became overworked. You became overwhelmed. You became in many ways a prisoner to your business, couldn't quite get out. And you might have a limiting belief that is just the way that it's going to be moving forward. And I'll tell you, first and foremost, that is absolutely not true. That's absolutely a lie. And so we're going to look at a couple things today. Number one, we're going to look at creating a business that gives you the life you want. And the second thing is just a concept about freeing up time that I talk about a lot, but it's important to do this. It's the value of time. So basically understanding at a deeper level the value of your time. So first of all, is creating a business that gives you the life that you want. And so obviously we think about profit when we think about generating a successful business, and profit is important. It's important to have a profitable company. However, what is your why? What is the reason that you have a business? And a second question would be, if you have a team of people or if you are self-employed, but you want to create an organization that revolves around a why as well. The question is, why do we as a company, as an organization, do what we do? Why do we exist? And there's really, outside of just the profit, which is unmotivating to many employees, although it's an important part of business, there's really 4 reasons why we potentially could exist, or a purpose, or a mission statement that people talk about. Number 1 could be to make the world a better place. Perhaps you created a business that you want to just make the world a better place. Number 2 is the desire to serve people. That could be another potential why of why we do things. 3 is education or understanding. Maybe the reason why you exist is to just this passion to educate and to have people understand your organization, your cause, and things like that. And the 4th thing is moving towards beauty or perfection. So the first thing is, when you have a business, why do you as the owner, what's in it for you? What's your why? And then second, what's the purpose behind the business itself, for the team, for the clients, for your organization? And it's important to have that hammered out to really have a super successful business. And it actually will lead to a more fulfilling business that you enjoy more every day as well. The second thing that I'm talking about today is a lot more tangible, and that's about freeing up time. So the question is, how much is your time worth? So if you were to give yourself a monetary value of your time, what would you say your time is worth per hour? And there's a few ways that I've seen different clients I've worked with go through this. One would be sort of a vision of your time in terms of its worth, of where where you want it to be. I remember when I started coaching, I had one of my not my first client, but a newer client when I got started. He put his time, he wanted to value his time and get towards being worth $10,000 per hour. And that was sort of a visionary number of where he wanted to be per hour. And as we continued coaching over many, many years, he kept working towards that number and kept being worth more and more per hour. And he hasn't quite reached that goal consistently yet, but in many situations he has reached and attained that goal. And through that striving to hit that $10,000 per hour, he's created a business that allows him to not work in the business and completely let the people run the business, and the business still continues to grow. So that was kind of a catalyst for that. Another way to look at this would be sort of a realistic optimism. So a lot of people in maybe a service-based industry might say, okay, well, my billable hours are $150 an hour, or $400 an hour, or $50 an hour, or whatever the billable hours would be. And so, in essence, you create a realistic thing, even if maybe you work 40 hours a week and you're not really getting paid that right now. You start looking at things that you can eliminate from your schedule to free up more time that isn't within that hourly rate. So, for example, if you're if you're worth $200 an hour, maybe there's outsourcing some of the administrative work, or maybe some of the cleaning work in the company, or maybe some of the marketing stuff that you normally would do, or maybe data entry or proofreading stuff, editing. There's a lot of different things you can edit, because maybe you can pay someone $20 or $40 or $60 an hour to do those things. I think, as you look at bookkeeping, that's the one that a lot of people need to outsource kind of at the beginning of their business, because one, you're not really good at it necessarily, and two, maybe your time is worth more spent doing something else where you can let the experts do it, and it's probably going to cost you less than your hourly worth. The third way to look at this would be maybe looking at it more about than an actual time. So if you work 50 hours a week, or 80 hours a week, or 30 hours a week, just divide it by how much you pay yourself in a salary, and that would be maybe get you your number. And again, you can look at this and figure out ways where you can outsource things that don't hit that number. So maybe it's $50 an hour, $75 an hour. And I know there's a client I worked with that was more realistic. She was it was a little bit more difficult for her to outsource things just based on kind of where she was at in business and life, financially. But she got to a point where even her realistic number, she was doing things that wasn't worth her realistic number. So once she knew what her time was worth, she ended up hiring an assistant that could free up more time and focus her attention on doing things that were worth more. And so in life, as we look at creating the life that we want, oftentimes we want to create a reasonable amount of time and also have a reasonable amount of money to do the things we want. And so having this understanding of what your time is worth is so crucial. And so we can look at this in many different areas of life. If you look at your home life, what are some things that we can delegate or outsource so we can focus on other things that are more important, like family, friends, health, things like that. So that's just a little bit about creating a business that gives you the life you want and also freeing up time. Go out, take action, and have a better than amazing day.